Now we shift to that age-old question, can you actually have it all? Well, Paula Gwynn Grant, a mom of two, news personality, and now Director of Communications at the Archdiocese of Atlanta, says that it's possible with some concessions.
I went to Catholic school, grade 1 to 12, but I was not Catholic. I was baptized Episcopal, but we were in Assemblies of God, Pentecostal kind of church. I grew up in Washington, D.C. And, you know, it was funny. I always at school, when we went to Mass or in religion class, it always touched my heart. I just always felt a connection to the Catholic faith. And as soon as I graduated college and was on my own, even while I was at college at the University of Maryland, I'd go to the Catholic Center and kind of check it out. And I became Catholic officially and converted when I was in my early 20s. And that was how I, quote unquote, became Catholic. It was just always being drawn to the faith, and honestly, the witness of my best friend's parents, her home. I just thought, when I grow up, I want a home like this. And her mom had entered the convent and decided to leave when she met her dad. And I was just always thinking that was so wonderful of a story, and the commitment and the Catholicism in that family as it was lived was a witness to me, a kid who just visited their home. And so I thought, yes, that's the way. And my family was very supportive. I mean, they'd send us to Catholic school, grade 1 to 12, so it was wonderful. You know how people will say things to you just randomly? People notice things, or they'll say, hey, you know, I saw you do that. Everybody can't do that. You did that exceptionally well. You should actually explore. Or they'll say, you should actually do radio. That's how I ended up in radio. Somebody said, yeah, you know, you're real good on camera. You'd be great in radio because you're very expressive. And the thing about radio is no one can see you. That is theater of the mind. You should give radio a try. In fact, come over here and do this. And I just followed that person's suggestion to do one small thing. And I think sometimes we're reluctant or even resistant when people make suggestions, but oftentimes those suggestions it's a step to your next path, and it's probably an unplanned step, and that's why you're resisting, because you know you have a plan in your mind. Be open. If someone makes a suggestion, explore, especially if it's not what you planned, because we can't see everything in ourselves. Sometimes people see things that we just don't. You are taught to, you know, go for your career, work, you have to use your brain, use all you were gifted with. And yet as women, we have this other desire. I know for me it was strong. I wanted to be a parent. I didn't want to be a solo parent. I wanted to be married and have that support, but I wanted to do my part. I didn't want to be an absent mom. So it was difficult for me to say, okay, I want to not climb up the ladder as fast. It wasn't hard to look at the baby and say, hey, God gifted you to me because there are so many of my friends that were struggling with fertility. So for me to be blessed with the baby and then not take time with the baby just didn't seem like the right thing to do. I think we all have to make the best decision for our lives. I didn't have family support. A lot of my friends were able to keep climbing up the ladder because there were grandparents, their parents, to help with that baby. Being from Washington, D.C. and living in Atlanta, I didn't have local family support. So my husband and I had to make those plans that, you know, we had to be around, because we didn't have grandma to help with the babies. And so I think you have to make your life choices, and sometimes I know I kicked and screamed, and my husband was really good about saying, hey, this time is short, you know? And it's true, because before I knew it, you know, my daughter's now 19, my son's 15, and guess what? They don't need me home as much as they did. They grow up, and that did go fast. So sometimes, you know, we protest, but we don't have our eyes wide open, and I've learned to quit protesting so much. Just do it and just remain open. And when I was very present and with the children, I realized, wow, I wouldn't have wanted to miss this. I would have kicked myself forever for missing this. So in the end, it wasn't a hard decision, but at that moment, I sure thought it was. But once I adjusted and got past that first career change where I went part-time, working part-time and getting a part-time paycheck after getting full-time paychecks, and adjusting to spending less. And then you kind of realize, hey, we buy too much stuff anyway. We have too much stuff. We can live a simpler life. And I have to say that helped me grow spiritually too, because it made me stop thinking I was doing stuff I wasn't doing. God gifted me with these talents. I wasn't making a thing happen. And sometimes we have to have life stop us a bit to get that. In the end, I did get it all, I have it all, and I know God's not done with me yet. And I know it's God Because again, if we had kept to the plan I originally made, let me just say, my kids probably wouldn't be doing well, because the effects of the climb up the ladder of success and all those ethical challenges, you know, folks get caught up in that web with you. You're never by yourself. And so, you know, you can't make decisions thinking, you know, this is what I want to do. You can't be selfish. And that's challenging, because sometimes you want to be selfish, but you can't. And that's the challenge that we all have to rise up to and say, okay, Lord, I need you to strengthen me. I need you to show me what I'm supposed to do here. I'd love to connect with you. All of us would love to talk to you at the Archdiocese of Atlanta. Find us on Facebook, connect with us, and follow us on Twitter. Let's talk.